MIDI controllers come in all shapes and sizes, each designed to fit a different workflow. Depending on your workflow and chosen software, some devices may work better than others. As you gain skills in your preferred software, it becomes essential to have a controller that will fit your needs. The BCF2000 was part of the B Control series by Behringer. This line introduced the BCR, the BCD, and the BCF. You can clearly see that the R stands for rotary, the D for DJ, and the F for fader. The BCF2000 includes 8 motorized faders. The cool thing here is that it means you can record automation or set a volume to a precise value, and when the change happens in your digital audio workstation, the controller reflects that. Just imagine you load up your DAW, and whatever tracks are in your set, the device updates the location of those faders automatically. The BCF2000 includes multiple different modes, but the included manual and software still make it a bit confusing. Luckily, Tactility.com labeled these buttons to enter the mapping modes on their templates, and that has made sorting this out a bit easier. To enable Mackie Control Mode, make sure your device is powered off, and then when powering on the device, hold the button under the 4th encoder knob. After that, you may need to hit exit, and the device will re-register with your computer. If your device is powered on in Mackie Control Mode, the next step in Ableton is to select Options or Preferences, and then Settings. With Settings open, under Link Tempo in MIDI, select your device as a control surface and input. For control surface, we have to choose Mackie Control. In Mackie Control Mode, you can see these faders adjust tracks 1 through 8. The issue with only having tracks 1 through 8 is that if I now press Bank Channel, I am skipping 8 tracks. I colored these tracks just so I can have some visual indication, but by default, it is just a mixer view of 8 tracks, and these buttons jump 8 tracks at a time. So as you can see, the main drawback of the BCF2000 in Mackie Control Mode is it's just too easy to lose your place. There is no visual representation of the tracks you are on, and it's not possible to move only one track at a time. But what if you could fix that? Well, that's exactly what I did. I created my own mapping for the BCF2000. With my mapping, you'll be able to move one track at a time and see the tracks as they are selected. Of course, I had to polish all the bells and whistles, so I added controls for fast forward and cue point skipping, as well as 2 additional pages relating to Ableton's EQ8. To utilize my mapping mode, you'll want to power on your controller while holding the button under the 1st encoder, like so. The screen will flash BC, and then will default to P1, and that stands for page 1. At this point, we'll just need to switch the control surface from Mackie Control to the custom mapping CSS BCF2000. The first thing you'll notice when you load my mapping is this session box. So now on tracks 1 through 8, you can see I have those selected by the BCF. And if I make any changes to these faders, it will reflect in the software. The controller's 8 tracks are mapped to this session box, so moving left and right will also update that track's value. I have included buttons to move the session box up and down as well, but we'll be discussing those in more detail in my next video, where I pair my BCF2000 with my Launchpad. The device always loads page 1 by default, but there are 2 additional pages for Ableton's EQ8. Page 2 applying to gain, and page 3 applying to resonance or Q amount. To enter page 2, simply press this button. You will need a flat EQ with 0 dB gain applied to each filter, and each filter being a bell curve. Once you are on page 2, simply select the EQ8 and then adjust faders to apply gains to each filter. Press page right to move on to page 3. All the faders apply to the resonance or Q amount. You can also sweep the filters with each of these encoder knobs or press the button to turn the filter off. Because of the bell curves, I would also suggest downloading my preset EQ filter sweeps we can limit the range before it gets to the EQ8. Using these tools together, you will create a more polished sound and have more room for each of your tracks. To briefly just highlight the other buttons, track arm and solo, as well as skip and scrub. Before ending the video, I want to just real quickly show how to add these MIDI remote scripts. First thing you gotta do in your File Explorer is enable hidden items. In the C drive, you can now choose the Program Data folder. And in here would be the Ableton folder. Under that, Resources, MIDI remote scripts. And you'll just place the folder directly into here. Once you've placed the folder in, you will have to restart Ableton unless you have beta. If you have beta, you can go up to Tools and reload the MIDI remote scripts. So download the MIDI remote script from the link to my Gumroad in the description. I've included images of the mapping, the overlay cutout, and my flat EQ8 preset, as well as instructions for how to get this installed. Check out the additional links if you would like to print your own caps for the faders and knobs or purchase a great quality visual of this mapping at tactility.com. Comment below if you would like to see exactly how this MIDI remote script was made, and I will follow up with another video showing the process. My next video will show how to pair a launchpad with the BCF2000 in Ableton. So hit that subscribe button and you will be notified when that video releases. And before you go, remember these 3 things. Improvement starts when you question the default. Don't settle for presets when you can create possibilities. And the only rule worth following is to make it better. Peace.